A banana and society. Now, a banana, we all know what a banana is. When it turns black, when it turns spotted, and when it gets very, dark on the exterior, it can still be eaten. It can still be good on the inside. It can still provide us with all the nourishment that the, pristine yellow banana provides us with. But there comes a time when the banana becomes so rotted, so decayed, that it is only useful for fertilizer for future bananas. And this is also true of society. Now, when we think back on the banana, the diversity of it, the freckles especially, a lot of people don't know this, but the freckles or spots on a banana, if it doesn't turn necessarily big black spotches, but it has those freckles first, has a higher sugar content. It's sweeter. With that diversity the banana has in its coloration, it is actually more enjoyable, for anyone. Now, let's compare this to society. Now, first of all, when a banana becomes so rotted that it can only be used as fertilizer, put in a compost bin, churned around with other, rotted bananas, and put into the ground for future banana seeds, or maybe the banana seeds are already there, to basically use as fuel for their own development into banana trees, and which sprout many societies in many different ways that this kind of life can manifest. If we talk about society in a similar way, there's a large, vast amount of time that a society is rotting or that it's decaying, that it can still be useful, that it can still be turned around, that it can still be valuable for everybody in it and to the world, even if it's starting to hurt other societies, even if it's starting to hurt itself and its participants. There's a lot of chances for a long time to turn it around. It's very hard to get to that point to where it can't be turned around and to where it's only negative. But when it does get to that negativity, then the society has to be simply the fertilizer for a new one because it is no longer useful for all its participants. And going back to the freckled banana thing, having a high sugar content, a diverse society actually is sweeter. It's more enjoyable for everyone. People enjoy being human and being a part of life itself when there is a whole bunch of difference around us. The only people who don't enjoy that are those who are afraid of that diversity. And that fear, even if there isn't any diversity, that fear actually poisons society, regardless of if that diversity exists or not, because these preconceived notions of what other people are, what other societies are, what other skin colors are, what other ethnicities are, religions are, these actually poison the banana from the inside out when it could be used for far longer. And a natural, banana decay state comes from the outside. It slowly happens, but that hatred for the sweetness of life, of society, that is diversity, actually starts from within and can poison the entire banana, the entire society. But when society finally gets to that point where it's completely rotten, where it's only providing negativity, it's only tyrannical, there is nobody that is truly helped, and those who are helped are either very few or very disdainful of everybody below them in that society. Now, the society of the United States has not reached that point, but societies of the past have reached that point. When we go back to the French Revolution, the French monarchy had been tyrannical for so long that it had basically made itself rotten completely, to where it was only benefiting a few people, and even those people were in constant paranoia of losing their status. And that's what happens at the end for a lot of societies, is that the few who it actually helps just end up being fearful of losing what they have. And then, of course, with the Jacobin Revolution in revolutionary France, hundreds of years ago, and there were some missteps in the growing process for the new banana tree, I guess you could say. And Napoleon actually made things a lot worse. At the beginning, he might have made things a little better, but eventually we saw that the tree began to die, and it wasn't able to produce the same amount of fruit that it had promised. It produced some fruit, for future adaptations in the society, but it didn't produce the fruit that it promised. Now, the reason I'm using this analogy is because no matter what we observe in life, it is reflected in more macrocosmic senses, and microcosmic senses. When we look at a banana and how it decays, we can compare it to society. When we look at a picture, we can imagine all the things that are behind that picture as far as influences that went into creating that situation, that moment when the picture was captured. Or we can just look at ourselves and truly look at ourselves and see all the different influences that make up our person, our identity, and who we think that we are. So always look at everything that you see, not as it just being by itself, but as it being a part of a micro and macrocosmic mesh that is essentially infinite. And I think that everybody really deep down wants to be part of infinity. And we see examples all around us every moment that we're conscious and many that we're not. But thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been interesting. I tried to make it viable to real life, as I try to do with a lot of my videos, most of my videos. The only ones I don't try to do that with are the ones that are super intellectual and symbolic. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video at all, hit that thumbs up down there. It really helps out the channel. If you want to ask any questions or make any comments, or you think it's ridiculous, or you love it, feel free to shoot down in the comment section below. I really appreciate comments, and I try to get to them all. Thank you, and what kind of banana do you live in?